All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to add the rest of the character steps and a sky for the background. So we're going to need to create another layer for that sky. And so here we go. The first thing I want to show you is that if you have lost your windows, you could always just find them in the word window up top. And I'm going to open my tools back up. And I seem to usually like to have my properties window open. And that came attached with the library for me. Okay, so now let's move this out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to zoom out a bit so I could scroll back, open this back up to take the magnifying glass. I'm going to push Alt on my computer to zoom out. Okay, now to get the other steps, I'm going to skip ahead I'm going to go every other frame for this, and I'm going to right click and say Insert Blank Keyframe, and I'm going to go File, Import to Stage, and I'm going to go one by one and get these steps, okay? I'm going to say no to the sequence, again, just so that I could control it a little bit better. Import to stage, and I'm going to go to step 3, okay? And step 4, import to stage, step 4, where we are, here we are, 4. And then we got 5 coming up. Blank keyframe, file, import to stage, 5, and here we go, import to stage, get 6, file, import to stage, we'll get 7, here we go, and one more. Blank keyframe, and we can now go File, Import to Stage, and let's get the last step. Okay, great. So now if we push play, you'll see that the ground just disappears, right? So what we want to actually do now is on the ground layer, we're going to just go to this last frame and right click and insert a regular frame, okay? Now the reason why, before I do that, the reason why it's invisible is there's nothing here. These frames do not exist yet. There's a keyframe here. The black circle, that means it's a keyframe. That means you could add something new and it'll change. And then afterwards, we want that same thing to appear. Whatever that keyframe is, we want just regular frames behind it or after it to, and if you put to show whatever was in that keyframe. And if I put a frame here, it'll fill them in with regular frames. So now that ground will actually exist. It actually exists in these frames now, okay? And so we are now going to lock these layers by clicking the lock on top, and you could individually lock and unlock layers. And then we're doing that so that we don't accidentally grab something on accident, okay? And we're going to create a new layer, and this new layer, we're going to call this Sky. This is going to be behind our character now, okay? And I'm not going to drag it to the bottom yet, and I'm going to make this a teaching moment. So we're going to use a rectangle tool, and we want to, I have this properties window over here. This is good. I want there to be no outline color. Okay, so maybe if I move this over, you can see on screen that I want to make sure that it's no outline color. And then I'm going to fill something in. You can see mine has a gradient there, and that's because I was doing something before I turned this video on. I'm going to go to Window Color, and I'm going to go ahead and you can pick, this is, whoops, Window Color. So let me do that again. It probably would start off at solid. Why is my color window keep disappearing? Let's see if I can keep that thing open somehow. And I'm going to pick linear gradient, okay? And then with linear gradient, you could double click on the start and end color of your gradient. So I'm going to start with blue and end with white. So that's what I like for my sky, okay? So now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to simply draw a rectangle like so, right? And the sky gradient shouldn't be going sideways like that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it, click in the frame where I can select all the way around it, one way or the other, maybe the frame to ensure that I get everything. And now I'm going to rotate it. Here's a tool right here that is a free transform. I could stretch things out and I could rotate it. So if you put your mouse right by the corner, you can, your mouse will change to a cursor that looks like like a circle cursor. I don't know if in the video it's showing you that or not. And you can pull it around, okay? And then, great, so I have it facing the way I want now. And I'm gonna go ahead and resize this to fit my whole screen. And if it goes off the sides, that's okay. That's all right. You can tinker around with that. And you fill it up. And now it's covering the ground, right? And that's the problem. So to fix that, we simply drag the sky below the ground. And voila, we have it. And so I'm going to lock the sky now, so it can't be selected either. And when we go Control Test, he'll just be looping, walking in front of a gradient sky on the ground, and taking a nice stroll. Okay? So go ahead and have fun importing the rest of the steps and a sky background that is a gradient, because we're going to do something with that gradient. Okay? Have fun.